Hello everyone, Keir Smith here, back with another video. And a while back I made a video where I shared with you the first songs that I fell in love with by the Big Six of prog. The Big Six of prog being Pink Floyd, Yes, Genesis, Jethro Tull, Emerson, Lake and Palmer and King Crimson. And after making that video, it was always my intention to follow it up with a similar video. So for this video, I'm going to share with you the first songs that I fell in love with by the Beatles, Bob Dylan, David Bowie, the Rolling Stones, Nirvana and REM. And it was good fun putting this video together because I was casting my mind back some 3 decades really, because I'm 43 now and I was between the age of 14 and 16 when I first heard these songs. But let's not waste any more time, so here it is, here's the list, and I'll start my list with the first song I fell in love with by the Beatles. I was 14 years old when I got into the Beatles in a big way, and this was all down to my oldest brother Liam, who was 17, nearly 18 years old at the time, and he was out working, and it seemed like he was buying all of the Beatles albums up one by one as he got a paycheck. And certainly the first Beatles album that I personally remember hearing was Help, and it was the song The Night Before that really struck a chord with me. And there's also a bit of a story around this song because, as I say, I was 14 years old, I was still at school, and I just started seeing this girl called Suzanne. And this relationship lasted all of 3 weeks because it turned out that while she was being lovely to me, she was also being lovely to another boy. So when I heard McCartney sing those words, "When I held you near, you were so sincere, treat me like you did the night before," I thought, my gosh, he's singing about me, he must be. And naturally, as a tender 14-year-old boy, I was a little bit upset that this girl was doing the dirty on me really. Anyway, her loss. This is a great tune. I love Macca's soaring vocal and the harmonies that answer that call. It's got a great chugging rhythm with John on electric piano, which musically broke new ground for the band. It's up-tempo, it's fun, it's got a neat guitar solo which I really like, and an all-round great Beatles tune. And talk about songs that changed your life. Well, this has an awful lot to answer for. It's brilliant. I love it. The Night Before. Like the night before. So having got into the Beatles in a big way, I was then going to school and telling all my friends about this great band and you've got to hear them and they're miles better than everyone else that's around today, miles better than Oasis, miles better than Blur. You've got to listen to them. And then after a while, a couple of school friends came back to me and said, "Oh, my dad, yeah, he thought the Beatles were okay, but he really liked the Rolling Stones." And as I say, a couple of friends told me this, and eventually my good friend Alex Marshall brought me in a copied tape cassette of It's Only Rock and Roll by the Rolling Stones, my first Rolling Stones album. And I think I was around 15 or maybe going on 16 years old at this point, and I really don't think I'd heard anything by the Rolling Stones at this point. Like I say, this was some 30 years ago. I didn't listen to the radio. I listened to what my brothers were listening to, and they weren't listening to the Rolling Stones. Maybe I'd seen a video or heard a song somewhere down the line, but I can't remember it. And so my first experience of the Rolling Stones was from listening to this album, It's Only Rock and Roll. And the first song that really struck a chord with me is the song Till the Next Goodbye. And oh, what a beautiful ballad this song is. It's a story song about, I quote, the illicit meetings between two lovers. And Jagger plays the sweet romantic here with a distinct country twang to his voice, which I love. And he's arranging for places for him and his lover to meet. And I always like that line when he sings, and I'm thinking to myself, she surely looks a treat. But then in the middle eight, he sounds like he's struggling or like he's had a change of heart when he sings, I can't go on like this. Can ya? Can ya? And it's all wrapped up in this really pretty melodic playing from Mick Taylor's skilled 12-string acoustic guitar. Nicky Hopkins plays some really nice piano on the track. Keith Richards plays a neat slide part. And the song flows wonderfully from verse to chorus to middle eight, back to verse, chorus. It's a wonderful thing. It's a soft country rock ballad in the very best way. And it remains a big favourite with me to this day, and I think those early songs always do, don't they? And it's a song that will be unknown to many, I reckon, so if you don't know this song, I hereby recommend it. Till the next goodbye. So, moving on to another 60s powerhouse. The first song I fell in love with by Bob Dylan was from this album, The Freewheeling Bob Dylan, and the song is Don't Think Twice, It's Alright. I remember watching the Beatles anthology series when it was first shown on TV back in the mid-90s, and in one of the early episodes of that, Ringo talks about hearing the Freewheeling Bob Dylan for the first time, and he says how great he thought it was, and so that was enough of a good recommendation for me, and as soon as I had some money, I went out and bought it. And there are some great songs on the Freewheeling Bob Dylan, like A Hard Rain's Gonna Fall, Blowing in the Wind, Girl from the North Country, Masters of War, but it was Don't Think Twice, It's Alright that I kept going back to. Immediately I was struck by how melodic it was, and it really is a lovely, intricately weaved acoustic guitar melody. And those harmonica breaks break up the verses nicely and give you time to pause for reflection on what is quite a sad lyric. When you rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason why I'm travelling on, but don't think twice, it's alright. I thought that was wonderful. It's a very sophisticated lyric and very damning too, like when he sings, it ain't no use turning on your light, babe, the light I never knowed. And that always made me laugh because I always thought, shouldn't it be the light I never knew? But he sings, the light I never knowed. I gave her my heart, but she wanted my soul. You could have treated me better, but I don't mind. From the off, I knew Bob Dylan was a serious lyricist, and this song is a great example of that. It's a great song, a classic early Bob Dylan song. Don't think twice, it's alright.
Don't think twice, it's alright.
So, from Bob to Bowie, and I think I was 16, maybe nearly 17 at the time, if not 17, I can't quite remember, but I was definitely working at the time and working with a great guy called Cade, and he remains a great friend until this day, and he bought me in my first David Bowie album, a copy tape cassette with Ziggy Stardust on one side and Aladdin Sane on the other. So the first song by David Bowie that I really fell in love with was The Prettiest Star. And first things first, that is a great riff and a great sounding guitar from Mick Ronson. This is lovely, just a really easy, breezy tune that's playful and easy on the ear, really catchy, and I fell in love with it immediately. And I always thought of it as some kind of Sinatra style song meets doo-wop, and it's got this very easy swing to it, and that saxophone gives it a slightly sleazy feel, and Bowie comes in with this casual vocal that gives it this slightly cheesy cabaret style feel. And this is one of many, many great vocals from Bowie. I just love the way it kind of went up and down, but it never went too far, and it never quite settles. It's great. And I can't tell you why, but I always love that lyric. It's the sky that makes you feel tired. It's a trick to make you see wide. But that aside, it's simply a great sounding song, a great tune, and those doo-wop harmonies are so good. A perfect piece of Bowie pop, The Prettiest Star. Now this next band I was listening to even before I got into the Beatles. For a good year or so before I got into the Beatles, in fact, I was listening along with my brothers to the thundering sound of Nirvana. And I remember hearing Nevermind for the first time. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was sitting downstairs in the kitchen of the house that our family lived in with my brother Craig and listening to a tape set copy that I think my brother Craig had borrowed from a friend of Nevermind, and it just blew me away. An earth-shattering musical moment, if ever there was one. And I'm pretty certain I had heard Smells Like Teen Spirit before I first heard the Nevermind album, but of course we always listened to the album back then. Whatever it was, we played the album start to finish. And the song that I latched onto first was Come As You Are. And this comes after the 1-2 punch of Smells Like Teen Spirit and In Bloom, but to me this was a little bit more mellow. As soon as I heard that opening guitar riff come in, along with Chris Novoselic's deep, rumbling bass, I knew I'd like it. And then of course Dave Grohl smacks those drums and it leads into that surging chorus. And Kurt's voice is so good. Honestly, he could sing anything and I'd love it. he can do no wrong in my eyes. And I always love the sound of that wiry guitar solo. It's a very simple solo, but very effective and a great solo. And the lyrics are fantastic too. Take your time, hurry up, the choice is yours, don't be late. And I really like those fast and heavy drum fills that Dave Grohl plays around that great chorus. It's a great tune, it's emotive, it's powerful, it's explosive, and no doubt about it, this left a lasting impression on me. It would definitely be in my top 10 Nirvana songs. It's a perfect song. Come as you are. So, lastly, and this is another band that I remember listening to with my brother Craig. He bought this CD into the house. This is REM, Monster, and the song that first got me was What's the Frequency, Kenneth, which was both the lead single and the song that opens the album. Immediately I was taken by the sound of Peter Buck's guitar. It was deep and heavy, but not overly loud. It had this kind of cool garage rock swagger to it. It's a really catchy song too, and I really like the sound of the drums, and as soon as Stipe's vocal came in, that was good enough for me. He was a very different vocalist to my ears, very different to what I was listening to at the time, which was Beatles, Nirvana, Oasis. And from an early age, I was always interested in lyrics and always wanted to know what the singer was singing about. But admittedly, I had no clue with this song, but it didn't matter because it all sounded so interesting, and the song and the tune itself was so good. What's the Frequency, Kenneth is a song that crackles with energy, and it keeps up the tempo throughout and never stops. And I didn't know at the time, but I remember hearing that, what I now know to be a backwards guitar solo, and thinking, whoa, that sounds amazing. And I love the fact that the song ends with Michael Stipe singing, I never understood, don't fuck with me. And at the tender age of 16, who doesn't love a swear word in a song? And I've since found out it's a song about and from the perspective of a guy who's trying to figure out what makes the youth of the modern day tick, but gets nowhere fast, and by the end of the song he still doesn't know. What's the Frequency, Kenneth? A great song from a great album by a great band.
What's the frequency, Kenneth? This young thing's a dream.
So there you go. 6 what I consider to be truly great songs, but more importantly, the first songs by those great bands and artists that I fell in love with. The Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan, David Bowie, Nirvana and REM. And please let me know down in the comment section below, not only what you might think of these songs, but what are your first songs that you fell in love with by the artists that you love? And as always, thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you for my next video sometime soon. Bye for now.